Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. It is going to be the game preview ahead of our Premier League fixture against Wolves away from home on Sunday. Obviously Everton coming off the back of a disappointing 1-1 draw with Southampton at Goodison Park on Thursday night. A game that really wasn't great whatsoever for Evertonians, was it? We were absolutely dominated in the first half. The second half was a little bit better, but still nowhere near as good and as sharp as we need to be if we're going to get anything out of this game on Sunday against Wolves. I honestly think if we go into this game and we perform like we did in that first half against Southampton against Wolves, I think we could be 2 or 3-0 down before half-time, if not more, because we just simply cannot afford to do it. Wolves have got a lot of good players, a lot of talent in that team, the likes of your Diego Jota, Jimenez, Ruben Neves as well in that midfield, a really solid defence. They've got a fantastic manager. Obviously, they're fighting for the European place as well. Every time I've watched Wolves this season, they've looked really good and really strong. And we simply cannot afford to turn up and put a performance in like we did on Thursday night against Southampton. So again, listen, like I said, I'm not looking forward to this one. I'm really not. I'd be lying to you if I was sitting here saying I'm looking forward to it. I'm massively confident. I'm not. Listen, Carlo Ancelotti's the manager of Everton Football Club, so there's an element of confidence there that I have pretty much every game that I wouldn't have had under previous managers. But looking at the previous displays and talking about the game against Tottenham and the game against Southampton, obviously a couple of days ago, Everton really didn't have much in the game whatsoever. Obviously a goal against Southampton coming from an absolute exquisite piece of magic from Luca Dean, and then a fantastic finish from Richarlison. But other than that, we really didn't have much in the game. And Carlo Ancelotti's come out in his pre-game press conference today, currently recording this on Friday, and spoke about how, you know, he believes there may be fitness issues, how he thinks that the team isn't 100% physical wise, they're not there, and he may have to make changes, and there may be a couple of decisions he has to make because of the fitness of the team. And I think I think you can see that when you watch Everton. Don't get me wrong, I think a massive part of it is the fact that the players just simply aren't good enough. I think the midfield simply aren't good enough. I think they're not fast enough. I think they're not energetic enough. I think they don't win enough balls. I think they're not committed enough. And I just think off the ball, our midfield is absolutely shocking. And that ultimately is because we've got far too many players that do the same thing. Those type of players that on the ball are okay, neat passing, look good on it. I've got quick feet, nice touches, but off the ball, they won't chase, they won't run round, they won't get involved, they won't put their body on the line, and pretty much our midfield is being bypassed in every game. And again, I think a part of that is down to fitness. It's very clear that since the restart of the Premier League, obviously we played Liverpool and we looked quite fit. We played Norwich and we looked relatively fit. And then in the Leicester game, towards the back end of the Leicester game, you could see there was sort of, the players were starting to tire a little bit more and there was fatigue issues. And I put that down to, right, okay, we played a few games in such a short period of time where we hadn't played for 2 or 3 months or so. So hopefully the more we play, the more fit we'll get. But it looks like it's gone the complete opposite way. The more we're playing, the less fit we're looking, the more likely we're looking to pick up injuries, little knocks here and there. Obviously, we've seen Mason Holgate pick up an injury against Tottenham Hotspur. We've seen Andre Gomes pick up an injury against Southampton. So the squad really isn't looking fit, and I think physicality-wise, I think Carlo Ancelotti's 100% spot on. It's not 100%, and again, I'm really not looking forward to this game against Wolves. If Wolves would have watched any part of that first half against Southampton on Thursday, I think they'll have realised that all they have to really do against Everton is attack us and give energy in the midfield and chase us down, and don't give our midfielders any time on the ball, and be 100% on their toes, constantly breaking forward and getting at players. And I think if they do that, I do think Everton will really struggle in this game. And again, I think we massively need to step it up. We spoke about after the Norwich game about if we're going to get anything out of the Leicester game, we have to massively step it up. And I think in that first sort of 15-20 minutes of the Leicester game, we did step it up. Okay, we started to tail off towards the back end of it and we held out really well. And I think, again, Carlo Ancelotti assessed that tactically there's not much he can do with a team if they're not fit, and all he can do is really ask them to hold out. And again, the Spurs game, we've seen a dreadful performance, so lacklustre. We weren't involved in the game. We were walking around. The fitness issues showed massively. And again, against Southampton, the fitness issues showed massively. We're just getting battered from pillar to post by a decent Southampton team, don't get me wrong, but a Southampton team that we looked absolutely fantastic. So we go into this game against Wolves, obviously, off the back of a draw, a disappointing draw, a game that we should be looking to bounce back in again. But, and this game's going to be very tough. Obviously, Wolves currently sitting 6th in the Premier League, 13 wins, 13 draws. draws and 8 losses as well. So they've had a fantastic season. They really, really have. And I think it's going to take a monumental performance by Everton if we're going to get anything out of this game. We really, really need to be at the top of our game. Again, like I said, energy-wise, I'm worried. I massively am worried. I think Carlo Ancelotti obviously come out today and said that, you know, in regards to fitness and stuff, he may look to make changes in this game because of fitness issues. So we'll have to wait and see. As you can see, my predicted starting 11 on the left-hand side of me there. We'll go through it now. I've put some changes in there because I've addressed this game and I've simply thought, listen, we've pretty much got nothing to fight for between now and the end of the season. Okay, mathematically, we still could finish in a European place, and okay, that's a possibility. However, realistically, are we going to finish in a European place? I don't know, and I think considering we've got quite significant fitness worries and considering we're picking up injuries a little bit more now, I just think why not just throw a couple of the kids in there? Why not try something different? Why not change it up a little bit? At the end of the day, ultimately, we've got nothing to lose. We're coming up against a very good Wolves side, and if we play a midfield that consists of, you know, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Andre Gomez, Tom Davies, Alex Iwobi, 3 of those 4 players, in fact, because I fully expect Anthony Gordon to start this game because he was fantastic against Southampton in a game that you know, not many Everton players were brilliant in. Anthony Gordon really, really was. So, listen, for me, I think, you know, Carlo Ancelotti may look and may just think, you know what, we'll just change it up a little bit. There's nothing to lose realistically in the game. You know, again, we could lose the game, but ultimately, we're not fighting for anything, so why not change it up a little bit? So I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Again, pretty solid game against Southampton a couple of days ago. Didn't have an awful lot to do, did he? Let's be perfectly honest, but what he had to do, he done well. I've gone for a back line of Luca Dean, Yerry Mina, Mason Holgate and Jabril Sidibe. This obviously is under the assumption that Mason Holgate will be fit. Carlo Ancelotti had his pre-game press conference today and he said, speaking about Mason Holgate and Andre Gomez, he said that both players will be assessed tomorrow ahead of Sunday's game, so we'll have to wait and see. But I've gone for the assumption that Mason Holgate will be fit and ready to play this game. I put Jabril Sidibe in there at right back in front of Seamus Coleman. I just think Seamus probably needs a little bit of a rest. Obviously, he's played every single Premier League game since the return. He's played a lot of games in a short period of time, and again, I don't want it to get to a point where Seamus gets torn to bits down that right-hand side or Wolves' left-hand side because his fitness just isn't quite there because he's played an awful lot. So I think in regards to fitness and when Carlo Ancelotti talks about changing it up a little bit, I think Jabril Sidibe I want to be one of the players that might come in. Again, across the back two, I've gone for Mason Holgate and Yerry Mina. Again, Michael Keane very similarly coming out, having a little bit of a rest. He's played every game since the restart of the Premier League and he's played quite well, to be perfectly honest, in every game. That Norwich game, he was man of the match for me. Fantastic performance, obviously getting the winning goal as well. Even the game against Leicester, he was really, really solid, cleared the ball off the line, kept us in it. So I think he's been fantastic since the restart of the Premier League and he probably does deserve a little bit of a rest. And I think for me, in regards to Michael Keane, I think you know, again, he was put under a lot of pressure on Thursday against Southampton. They broke consistently at us. They were constantly getting at us. You know, and he had to put his body on the line a couple of times. So I think if Mason is fit, Carlo Ancelotti may opt to sort of take Michael Keane out and give him a little bit of a rest. I've gone for Luca Dean at left back. I was very tempted to put Leighton Baines in there, and I do hope we see Leighton Baines before the end of the season because I've got a bad feeling that Leighton Baines is waiting to see how many times he features between now and the end of the season in regards to making his decision on whether he signs that contract extension or not. But I just think with the quality of Luca Dean, and obviously he showed that against Southampton, an absolutely fantastic ball over the top and a brilliant finish by Richarlison, and that's the type of quality that we're lacking in this squad. That's the type of creativity that we do not see enough, and for me, you simply cannot take that creativity out of the team because without Luca Dean on Thursday night, we wouldn't have scored that goal, and without Luca Dean's obviously thought of, I'm just going to completely bypass the midfield because they're not good enough, you know, we wouldn't have put that ball over the top and ultimately we wouldn't have got the equaliser. So that's the back four that I've gone for. Going into the midfield, I've gone for Gylfi Sigurdsson and Beni Baningime. Again, the midfield two, isn't it? It's worrying, isn't it? And it's worrying every time we play. And I said it in the game review to the Southampton game yesterday. Earlier on today. Look, again, between now and the end of the season, I think whichever centre midfield two that Carlo Ancelotti opts with, it's going to be worrying because ultimately, you know, we haven't got the energy in there, we haven't got the urgency, we haven't got the pace, we haven't got the quality, and off the ball, we are absolutely dreadful midfield-wise. Certainly that centre of the midfield, there's just no energy whatsoever, there's no urgency, there's no willingness, there's no fight, so it's going to be tough. I've gone for Gylfi Sigurdsson in there purely off the basis that obviously Andre Gomez has picked up an injury, and I don't think that we'll see him feature. I also think Gylfi done okay when he come on against Southampton. Look, I think when Gylfi's best performances, certainly since the lockdown and the restart of the Premier League, have been when he's come off the bench, and I don't know whether that's because the game's a little bit slower at that point and he suits it a little bit more. I don't know whether that's because ultimately he's got something to fight for because he's been dropped and he's trying to fight his way back into the starting 11. I don't know, but I think, like I said, there's not many other options. Fabian Delph looks like he'll still be out for the game. Obviously, Andre Gomez will be assessed, but for me, said it after the Southampton game, I wouldn't be putting Andre Gomez in between now and the end of the season. I think he's either unfit, struggling with an injury, or just simply isn't good enough. And at the moment, we can't afford players that are not fit and not willing to run around and not able to get around the pitch. And I'm not saying that Gylfi Sigurdsson can. I don't think any midfielder can. Like I said, we haven't seen anything of Beni Baningime. I've thrown him in there. We'll talk about him in a minute. But I think, if you're putting Andre Gomez and Gylfi Sigurdsson next to each other, they're both very immobile. They both don't get around the pitch. They both don't put challenges in. They're both absolutely useless off the ball, but on the ball, Gylfi Sigurdsson's probably got a little bit more quality and a little bit more ability on the ball as well. So I've gone for Gylfi Sigurdsson in there, which some people mightn't agree with, but there you go. Next to him, like I said, I've gone for Beni Baningime. I put Benny in there purely off the basis that Carlo Ancelotti stated that, again, he may make some changes and, fitness issues are a little bit worrying. Beni Baningime obviously featured, I think, every single game on the bench since the restart of the Premier League, but hasn't come on once. I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing wrong. I don't know why Carlo Ancelotti hasn't chosen him, because for me, listen, looking at our midfield currently, Beni Baningime must be looking at that midfield thinking, how the fuck don't I get into this team? These are absolutely, utterly atrocious. How am I not making it into this team? So I'm not too sure why he's not featured him. Maybe Carlo's just wanting to leave him out a little bit. Maybe he's just worried because he hasn't got a lot of Premier League experience, because he doesn't play constantly in the Premier League. But for me, like I said, again, this is more a team I would like to see rather than a team I think Carlo Ancelotti will go with. And I don't want to see Tom Davies and Gylfi Sigurdsson in the midfield. I don't want to see Sigurdsson and Gomez. I don't want to see Gomez and Davies. I just don't want to see it. It's lacklustre. There's not enough energy. There's not enough urgency. And we will almost guaranteed... it's almost guaranteed that we'll be overrun massively in the midfield if either of those three players are playing together. So I've thrown Beni Baningime there because, I've only seen him a couple of times for Everton, but every time I've seen him, he's got energy, he gets about, he throws tackles in, he puts himself in the way. He's not the fastest player, he doesn't cover every blade of grass, but he gets about certainly more than the others do, and he'll have a point to prove as well. If he's given an opportunity in this game, massive game away from home against the side that are in very, very good form, I think he'll have a massive, massive point to prove, and he'll go out there and put in a decent performance. Front four then, I've gone for the same front four I predicted for the Southampton game. Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side, Richarlison on the right, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Moise Kean up front. I actually think Dominic Calvert-Lewin might be taken out of this game purely on the basis that I think Carlo Ancelotti might look at it and think, right, okay, again, fitness-wise, he started to struggle a little bit towards the back end of games. Again, he obviously had that opportunity against Southampton, which he didn't take. And I think that Carlo Ancelotti may keep a relatively similar team that played against Southampton, but have Moise Kean instead of in there next to Richarlison, instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But for me, I'd really love to see Gordon, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin and Kean in the same team. I think there's a lot of energy there. I think there's a lot of youthfulness there. I also think there's a lot of opportunity there, certainly for the likes of Moise Kean and Anthony Gordon. Again, Anthony Gordon's been playing an awful lot more recently. He's been our most creative player, been an absolutely fantastic player when he's been in there, and when he's been, obviously, he's been given his opportunity. Moise Kean, again, we've only seen him in spells. He had a little bit of an opportunity against Southampton yesterday where he had the ball, he brought it into the box, and he gave away a foul, which wasn't a foul, but then he didn't really have much more. So I think, again, a little bit like the Beni Baningime situation, if you give Moise Kean a start in this game, maybe something will switch, and maybe you'll think, right, this is my big opportunity, I need to make the most of this, I need to prove to the manager that I can be a part of this team. And I also think that front four is as better as any front four that we'll see from Everton. I simply don't think Alex Iwobi should be playing there because I don't think he's good enough. I think we're more than likely going to see Bernard there because, again, I think Carlo Ancelotti's more than likely going to put a Bernard there rather than a Richarlison and keep Richarlison up front, which I understand as well. Again, I'm not going against that from Carlo Ancelotti. I understand because Richarlison is very, very good up front. His striking ability is fantastic, as we've seen on Thursday against Southampton. But I'd just like to see Gordon and Richarlison on the wings. I think Richarlison on the wings would offer an awful lot more than any other winger does. I'm not completely convinced on Bernard, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Yes, he'll probably play, but I just think he's massively inconsistent, and I don't think he offers enough for us. So that's the front four I'd like to go with. Obviously, like I said, Richarlison offering a little bit more on the wing and in the midfield. Anthony Gordon, again, keeping up his good form, and then Moise Kean getting this massive opportunity, and a big opportunity for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to ultimately prove a lot of people wrong and get a goal, obviously, which will be his first since the restart. So that's my predicted starting 11. Then let me know your thoughts on it in the comments section down below. Do you agree with it? Again, like I said, it's more a starting 11 that I would want to see Carlo Ancelotti go with, not necessarily a starting 11 that I think he will go with, but let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below, of course. Yeah, listen, it's going to be a tough game, this. It really, really is going to be a tough game. There's not much more I can say. Wolves are in fantastic, fantastic form. They've got some really, really talented players. Again, I'm massively worried about that midfield. I think defensively, I think we can be tight. I think we've been tight for the majority of the games. Okay, we struggled a little bit because we come under a lot of pressure on Thursday against Southampton. But I think overall, since the restart of the Premier League, I think defensively we've been very, very tight. Michael Keane and Yerry Mina doing a decent job last week, on Thursday, although they come under a lot of pressure. And Mason Holgate and Michael Keane doing a fantastic job since the restart of the Premier League. Like I said, going forward, I think we need to create more opportunities. We've shown on Thursday what you do if you give Richarlison an opportunity, what happens when you give Richarlison a chance, what happens when you put it on a play for him, he scores. I think Dom needs to do a lot better in that department as well. But again, the midfield is a massive, massive worry for me, and this game is going to be won or lost in that midfield. And judging by our previous midfield performances over the last couple of games, I'm not confident. I'm really, really not. But listen, you have to be confident and you have to be optimistic. Again, Wolves have shown many a time this season that they are a good side, but they've also shown at times that they can be beaten as well. And they've got again a good midfield, but it's not necessarily a fast midfield. It's not necessarily a midfield full of energy and full of pace. Again, they've got a few good technical players, really, really good technical players, and we've got to hope that their energy levels aren't anywhere near as much as Southampton's are on Thursday, and then we can step it up. We need to step it up ultimately, and if Carlo Ancelotti addresses this situation and he thinks, right, okay, Andre Gomez is fit for the game, Gylfi Sigurdsson's fit for the game, but they're physical decided they're not 100%. They're not going to be able to get about the pitch. They're not going to be able to run around. Don't play them. We've got nothing to lose. We're probably not going to finish in a European place. Yes, we want to finish the season strongly, but I'd rather put Beni Baningime in there, who's going to give us a bit more energy and he's got something to prove, than an Andre Gomez in there who's going to give us the same performances he gave us over the last couple of games, and we know what to expect with them. Like I said, Europe's a massive, massive, massive task now because of the last couple of results, and it's probably very, very unlikely. So this is the time really for Carlo Ancelotti in a season where it means nothing really. Obviously, he's coming halfway through. He's inherited a squad with largely average players. Yes, a couple of standout stars, but largely average players. I think this would be a big chance for Carlo Ancelotti to just experiment a little bit, put some players in there, change some players about, use some different tactics and see how it goes, because, listen, it's quite clear that currently, certainly that midfield, it's just not good enough, and I think we all know that needs addressing massively in the summer. 2 centre midfielders, please, as a matter of urgency, and then any other position can be focused on when we bring 2 midfielders in. Anyway, that's going to be my preview for the game against Wolves on Sunday. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button. It means a massive, massive amount to me. Share it all over social media as well. Recently at 1,900 subscribers, so massive, massive thanks for that. Really, really do appreciate it. Getting close now to that 2,000 mark. It means a massive amount to me if we could hit that. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on my predicted starting 11, as well as your thoughts on the game on Sunday. Are you confident? Are you not looking forward to it? Listen, I can't say I'm confident and I can't say I'm looking forward to it, to be honest with you. Wolves are a very good team and it'll be a very tough game, but ultimately we can only do our best, can't we? And hopefully Carlo Ancelotti, realises, and I think he will realise how good of a side Wolves are and how important this game is, that we don't go out and we don't get embarrassed, because I think if we go out and we play in the same ways that we played in the first half against Southampton, I can see us getting embarrassed tomorrow on Sunday, and we really don't want that. Anyway, big thanks for watching. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. We'll be back after the game on Sunday with the instant match reaction, as well as the player ratings, and then of course we'll be live on Monday with the live game review, so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date with all of the content. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed. Come on, you Blues, let's go out there and let's shock us all. Let's go and put a decent performance in and let's win. Might be asking a bit too much, but come on, we've got the talent to do it. We just need to give it 110% and be a bit more energetic, and let's hope we can be. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon.